Hello everyone, I'm Brior and welcome back to Goodgame Empire. Ever since I started out making YouTube videos for this game, I have consistently received requests from my audience to make videos containing tips for lower level players. Of course, the problem is I have not been a low level player myself for quite a number of years, and in that time the game has changed substantially, so there are some things I just don't know. Regardless, we will try to tackle this subject today, and with that in mind, for the vast majority of my regular audience who already plays the game, today's video will not be so much a tutorial, but at most, at best, entertainment. This video is designed for you if you have never played Goodgame Empire before and are looking for some general advice. If you're looking for tips on how to complete the game's various events, check out my regular videos. Yes, they are aimed at level 70 players, but you will be able to participate in the events too, using those strategies, just not doing them quite as much. Now, if you really haven't started playing the game yet, there's one video on my channel I would recommend you watch. That video exists under the title, Is Goodgame Empire Pay to Win? And in that video, I asked and answered that very question. In that video, we concluded that Goodgame Studios is currently giving too much of a boost and a benefit to players who do break out that credit card. However, I also said in that video that it's possible for just about everyone to enjoy Goodgame Empire, so long as they go into it with the right expectations. For the full extent of my argument, I recommend that you watch the whole video, if you have time, but I also recommend that you check out my comment section on that video, because my audience had some really insightful things to say, and that video is one of the most commented on of all of the videos on my channel, which I think speaks to how big the discussion in response to that question can get. Given that we established it might not be possible to catch up to or even maintain pace with high-level Ruby buyers, is it possible to catch up to existing players in the game, i.e. people who have played for 7 years developing their account? Can you ever get on their level? We know that Goodgame Studios has been focused on adding things to do in the late game for quite a while. They've got a lot of players who have just about maxed out their accounts, and they want extra things for those players to do, but have they lost sight of the beginnings of the game? Is it now possible to level up more quickly than it was before? These are all big questions that I don't necessarily have the answers to. I think you'll find out whether or not Goodgame Empire is fun yourself by playing it for the first 2 weeks. As my About page here on YouTube suggests, Goodgame Empire is a medieval strategy browser game that you can play for free. You, the player, assume control over a castle, or in the later game a number of castles, which you must defend from the events and from other players. In those castles, you should increase your food production so that you can support massive armies, once again to participate in the events, and this time to attack other players. In my humble opinion, the PvP system in the game actually works better for lower level players, so that's something you might get to enjoy. At any rate, we'll come back to that in just a moment. A big and often overlooked component in Goodgame Empire would be all of the other people that you can meet in the game. With up to 64 other players, you can get together and form an alliance, and those people are the reason that I think many players decide to stick around and continue playing the game. Goodgame Empire has been available to play since 2012, and since then the developers, Goodgame Studios, have been consistently working on updates. Updates come out at about the rate of 1 or 2 big updates every month. Be forewarned, sometimes these updates are very annoying and remove things that players in general like from the game. However, other times they help to keep the game interesting and give players even more things to do. However, after over 6 years of development, Goodgame Empire has a lot of features, and some of them can be very confusing and intimidating for newer players. In fact, I think that's one of the reasons that Goodgame Empire has stagnated in recent months. New players get into the game and realize that there's quite a bit that they have to do to catch up with other people, but it's okay if you know what you're doing, or if you're watching this video, because I'll explain it to you. The very first thing you'll do upon starting Goodgame Empire is go through a tutorial. That tutorial will teach you some very basic things, like where certain features are on the user interface. It will also teach you how to put buildings in your castles and how to send out attacks. I have confidence that you'll be able to go through this tutorial just fine. It's pretty well designed, and so therefore I won't waste any more time on the tutorial in this video. Now, I thought about this for a while, and I think I've boiled my advice down into two main suggestions that I think are critical for brand new players. The first is to join the biggest and best alliance that you can. I was just talking a moment ago about how social connections in the game can be a big reason to play, and that is absolutely true, but the other thing that an alliance will give you is access to certain benefits. If you join an alliance that's big enough to where some players have purchased an alliance subscription, that is a monthly payment to Goodgame Studios for the benefit of everyone in the alliance, then you, as a member of that alliance, will get a few important perks. The most important perk for brand new players is going to be the construction time skip ability. If you are not in a big alliance, you will quickly realize that many buildings take hours or even days to construct in the game, and Goodgame Empire turns into one big grind. A grind of slow, gradual progress towards a better and stronger account. But if you're in a powerful alliance, you will have the ability to skip some of that construction time. Your spot in a powerful alliance will help you earn extra rewards of troops, tools, resources, and just about everything else. Furthermore, it will mean that your account is very well protected, because your alliance members will be able to send troops to your castle to defend it. So it's very important that you be accepted into the best alliance that you can get into. Chances are it won't be one of the top 20 or even top 50 alliances on the server unless you already have great connections, but you should try anyways to write very persuasive letters. In the description of this video, I will include a link to a post on the forums for the game. That post will have a list of the event schedules, and there is a certain event that you should be aware of so that you can start building your account at the right time. That would be the seasonal event, and the name of this changes slightly each month because it's a seasonal event, but anyways, these run for about 30 days, and you can get some great equipment and some great rewards. So if you start your account at the beginning of one of these events, that is the best time to get involved with the game. My strategy for getting into a great alliance at a low level would be as follows. Join the game at the right time and put as much time and effort as you can into the seasonal event. That will get you might points, which will increase your ranking on the list of all players, and it will increase your position in the seasonal event. You can check your rank in the game by clicking on this button here, and then on this button, which looks exactly the same, and here you'll be. You'll probably be in the levels 1 to 19 category or something like that, but if you are among the top 10 or ideally top 5 players, that is the time to write to other alliances asking for membership. They will check that on the public lookup. Anyone can see anyone else's rank, and they'll be impressed, and hopefully they'll let you in. You will begin the game with just your main castle, but at level 13, you will be able to build the estate. This is a building, you put it in your castle, and it enables you to capture outposts. You will notice at the very top of the rankings for all players between level 1 and level 19, these players have very nice outposts, and you might be wondering how they got them. Well, they captured outposts from existing players, most often players who are no longer playing, but originally spent a lot of time building those outposts and making them very good to have. Anyways, this is a bit of a catch-22 because if you can capture one of these top-tier outposts, that will help you increase your might points and increase your chances of getting into a great alliance. But most of these players who have those outposts got them from their alliance members. They were passed on within the alliance. So you want to have them to be able to get into an alliance, but you have to be in an alliance in the first place to get good outposts. When you do capture outposts, make sure that you are capturing the best available. And if you come onto the world map and you take a look, you will see that those outposts, the best ones, are elevated. They're up on a hill, and the food icon is on the left side. Those outposts produce more food than other outposts, and food, as you will soon find out, is the most important resource in Goodgame Empire. It enables you to feed your troops, and an outpost that has more food in it will support bigger armies, which is good for just about everything in the game. You might be wondering what buildings to put in your castle, and for the most part, the quest book will lead you in the right direction, but that only tells you what to put in your main castle. In your outpost, there are a lot of buildings that you should not waste time with, and the best way to get an idea of what these are is to go to a high-level player's outpost on the world map and just take a peek inside. You will see that most of them, if not all of them, do not have dwellings. Do not build dwellings in your outpost. You might also strongly consider not building wood or stone production buildings. Depending on what kind of outpost you have, you will only be able to build one of the two anyways, but I would recommend entirely ignoring them and instead only building granaries and public order and some other buildings like that. You will need resources like stone and wood to continue constructing buildings in your castle, but you will get plenty of these from looting targets on the world map, and once again, we'll get to that in just a moment. However, in your castle, what you want to do is maximize food production. This is especially what players at the very highest level of the game are doing in all of their castles, but you can get a head start by focusing on this as well, even before level 70. Once again, that means building granaries which produce food in all of your outposts. Public order is important because these buildings make your workers happier, which make them produce more resources. They increase overall production. When you go inside one of your castles, so to speak, there is a bar up at the top. On the left it is red, and on the right it is green, and that bar will show how your public order is affecting your overall production of resources. The buildings you should put into each and every one of your outposts are as follows: farmhouses, an upgraded keep, an upgraded barracks, upgraded fortifications, a flour mill, a stables, a bakery, and a watchtower as you can afford them, and that's about it. In your main castle, once again, follow the quest book, but you should be focusing on upgrading your barracks to get stronger troops, your encampment to get more commanders, which we'll talk about in a moment, and also your watchtower again, and put even more emphasis on that one because your main castle is more likely to be attacked. And what the watchtower does is it will alert you of incoming attacks earlier. Your watchtowers, bakeries, and stables will require rubies to build, and we've said a lot of things in recent videos against people taking out their credit cards. We've said that Goodgame Studios gives too much of an advantage to players who pay money to the game. However, there is nothing wrong with the individual deciding to spend money, so if you are that kind of person and want to spend money on the game, that is fine, and I would recommend that you do so at the very beginning of your account, because you will get a 200% ruby offer. You might get that a few times in the very early game, and then you will never see that again. So if you want to buy rubies at the very best price, that would be the time to do so. In your main castle, as I said earlier, follow the quest book, but once you turn level 70, be prepared to demolish quite a few buildings. Once again, all of those stone and wood buildings should go away, as should the dwellings. Instead, there is only one quest in the quest book that is important anymore at level 70, and that is the quest that gives you experience for collecting 50,000 glory points. That is how most players level up all the way to legendary level 800. And just to make this clear for anyone who has not played the game before, you level up starting at 1, then you probably exit the tutorial around 8, 9, or maybe even 10, and then you'll go up to level 70 over the course of a number of weeks or a number of months, depending on how well you play the game. It is faster nowadays than it was in previous years, and it was when I did it, because it used to be that level 70 was the level cap. And in a sense, it still is. You get to level 70, but then you have to go through the legendary level process, and there are essentially 800 more levels to go through. I don't know why they have separate legendary levels. It's a really stupid system. It doesn't make any sense. Think of it as you have 870 levels in the game, because that's pretty much what it is. In a future video, I will talk about how level 70, legendary level 1, is the worst level to be in the game. That is when you are thrown into competition with players who have existed on the world map for 7 years, and yet your account is substantially weaker, and a lot of players decide to quit right there and then. But what you do in the levels leading up to level 70 will determine how strong your account is, and how easy of a time you will have transitioning into the late game. We'll talk more about that in a future video, so if you'd like to stay tuned for that, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. As always, thank you very much for watching today's video. I've been Brior, and I'll see you next time.